morning, everybody. So if you're a Red Eagle shareholder, you want to know what happened, where are we now, and are we on schedule? And the answer is we are on schedule, so we're going to address that today, and also address the exploration we've been doing. So we have 4 rigs turning at the project right now, 3 underground doing delineation drilling, and some of the best results we've ever had. So the gold is definitely there. That's not what the issues that we had earlier in the summer. And then we also have grassroots exploration drilling happening, and we've made some grassroots discoveries. So we've had multiple new discoveries within 5 kilometers of our plant. So what happened was we had 2 issues, and these issues are common, but often if you have a larger mining company, a multi-asset company, or a major, these issues happen, and they have the balance sheet, so they're just speed bumps on the way. When they happen to junior companies, as we've seen with a few over the last couple of years, they could be life-threatening, not speed bumps. So the 2 issues that we had, one was we got behind in our development. So we underestimated how long it would take to get through the saprolite. So where our deposit is in solid, all of our development works in solid granodiorite, but the first 50 meters is oxidized into saprolite, into mud basically. So when you're putting that 4 by 5 meter ramp down through that mud, it was very challenging. Today, and since we've focused on the development in the beginning of June, we've done 20 meters a day, 600 meters a month, and we've got 7 kilometers of ramp now done. So it's going very well now with no support. But back then, going through that one time going through that 50 meters vertical of saprolite, we were only doing 3 meters a day with a steel set every 1.5 meters, and Shotcrete, it was took a long time. So then we had our plant ready. It was built on time and on budget in December, but the mine was behind, so we didn't have enough faces. So that's always challenging to get enough feed through the plant. So what we were working then with only around a dozen faces. What we'll have when we restart at the beginning of December, which isn't far away really, we're only talking a couple months now, we'll have 54 headings. So we'll have a lot more access and a lot more flexibility on what we're mining, so we can maintain that consistent production when we go back into production then. So that problem has already been resolved with that development work that we've done. And the other issue was geotechnical. It was ground conditions within the stopes. So the development work was all in solid granodiorite, no issues there, no support required. But once you go into the shear zone, and we're mining a high-grade part within the shear zone, we always knew there were ground conditions. The ground's going to be troubling there, and we budgeted a lot for that. But we underestimated the pressure on those stopes. So when we loose backfilled, the pressure, the surrounding rock just wanted to close up that void. And that's solved by paste fill. Which is a simple solution. It's common in these type of mines, in thin underground veins, are often paste filled. And not too expensive kit. They're $3 million to build that plant, but what's challenging is the time to do that. So we made the tough decision back in the beginning of the summer to shut down stope mining while we got ahead on the development and built the paste plant. But that means it'll be 5-6 months by the time from June to December when we start again without cash flow. So that was the real challenge, and why we had to do that financing this summer. So we could have, most of that financing was done with our largest shareholders, and we could have just gone ahead and done a private placement with those shareholders. But obviously financing when the mine's in trouble like that, it's a challenging thing to do, and the price was challenging. So we decided to offer that to all shareholders. So that's why we switched to a rights offering to let everybody participate in that price. So we'll get into it. I think I've used half my time before I've started. I'll flip to the important slides. So here's where we are. We're from an infrastructure perspective. It's as good as you could expect for a gold mine. We're an 1.5-hour drive on the main Pan American Highway from Medellin, which is a great city to live in. The workforce is half an hour away. The town of Santa Rosa is 45,000 people and very pro-mining. We've got excellent relationships with every level of government and the community, the church, the local universities do our environmental baseline work. It's so from a social community, from a permitting perspective, it's an ideal place to work. This is what it looks like. We're mining a shear zone 50 meters wide, but we're mining high grade parts within that are only a couple meters wide. So far it's 2 kilometers long. Our reserves are only to 200 meters depth though, just from a lack of infill drilling, which we're doing now from underground. It's much more efficient than what we're doing from surface. The deepest drill holes are 600 meters though, so we have at least 3 times the reserves that we have now, so we expect it to be a long life asset. This is a long section of the same thing. So red there in both of those slides is plus 10 grams and green plus 5 grams. And I said with the infill drilling we're having a lot more of that high grade. And as you can see, it's open to depth and open to the east as well. This is just an example of some of the infill drilling that we've been doing. So the yellow histograms are gold from the drill holes from the feasibility study, and red from the infill drilling, just to give you a concept of the amount of infill drilling we're doing now, where we're drilling the deposit on 10-meter centers. So this is the center of our deposit. We also have 100 square kilometers all around it, and the amount of artisanal work here is just amazing. It's even on this first concession here is 3 to 4,000 now we've mapped of adits of underground mines, and dozens of old open pits from Spanish times. So there's clearly a lot of gold here, but they only mined the oxides and all the sulfides are still remaining. So up until recently, all of our drilling was in the San Ramon shear zone where our mine is, which is the red line there. The star is our plant, and where our exploration drilling's been happening is in the west. So Canarica, Guacamaya, those targets off to the west there, we've built a road over there. They're all within 5 kilometers of the plant, and we've had multiple good drill holes in each of those things. So there's exciting targets for sure. They're definitely deposits, and still lots of exploration work to do though. And the plan has always been to have this plant as a central processing facility with multiple mines feeding in, so we can grow production from year to year. It's finicky. So this is, as well as on that last page, here, the pink outlines is anomalous gold from our geochemistry, and the black dots are those adits I talked about. This side, you can see potassium from our radiometrics overlays almost exactly, so we know where the deposits are. This is some of the drilling that's happened in the west. On this, the blue are veins, so you can see, and this is the Canarica target, how many veins we have, parallel veins. There's hundreds of them, and you can see them from surface. There's tunnels right into them all along, and they all go down into the sulfides. So it's some really, really exciting targets. This is from the surface. You can see all the little tunnels along those veins. We also own 80% of Red Eagle Exploration. This is a company we bought a couple of years ago called CB Gold, which was also a TSX View company. And they have an amazing deposit also called Vetus. It's the California Vetus District. California is where Ventana was, which you all remember from the largest win in Colombia a few years back. That Vetus deposit has 70,000 meters drilled into it, and we picked it up for $5 million in shares a couple years ago at the bottom of the market. And so many nice drill intercepts there. They intercepted the veins 177 times, and they averaged an ounce material. So that's our pipeline project to build next. So first off is San Ramon, then the satellites for San Ramon, and then this Vetus deposit. And then we've just recently, earlier this year, we've been buying up concessions around Ventana's project in California, and been having amazing results there as well. And not only just some concessions that had been drilled by previous owners, but then the options had lapsed under the long process that the Ventana went through with AUX purchasing it, and then through bankruptcy, and then ending up with Mubadala, the UAE or Abu Dhabi sovereign wealth fund. But going through that whole process, they dropped some of those concessions, and that's what we picked up. So we picked up concessions that have tens of millions of dollars of drilling on them already, and some neighboring concessions where we're making grassroots discoveries. And this is all within 300 meters of what's going to be the biggest gold mine in Colombia. And then Santa Ana, we picked that up last year as well. This was the largest historical silver mine in Colombia, and they were mining 17 kilos of silver back 100 years ago. And only a few drill holes in it, but they've hit 1,000 to 2,000 grams per ton silver. So it's also an exciting exploration project. And I'm at zero. But that's all I wanted to say. So please come by the booth and I'll answer any questions.